Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. It is finally Saturday, so welcome to the weekend, my friends. Um, Today we have yet another Spooktober deck. This is another viewer submission. This is sort of a mix between a Mayakashi slash Eldlitch deal. It's not terrible. It's definitely confusing to me because I've never played so few monsters in a build. But I kind of understood the concepts. I was asked to provide an extra deck for this. So part of this is like, you know, can you just build me an extra deck that you think would go along with this? And part of it is me going, well, I'll do that if you'd let me show them your main deck. So that was the option, and they accepted. So we're going to give you guys a deck profile. So this is a straight 40 this time. 10 monsters in the deck. Starts a little something like this. So 3 copies, Hajun, the winged Mayakashi. And as you guys know from the many times I've built like the Mayakashi Mill Soul Absorbing Tower of Doom deck, whenever this guy gets normal slash special summoned, we can go ahead and special summon one Mayakashi from our deck with a different name. You can only use this effect once per turn, and you cannot special summon except Mayakashi that turn. So again, when you do the climb, it's going to cost. And that's all it costs, is it costs what you're able to use. And then, of course, the next obvious option here is you want to go into Daki, the Graceful Mayakashi. This is going to be the tuner option here. This allows us to start as low as we want on the climb. You can only control 1 copy of Daki at a time, and when a Mayakashi monsters would be special summoned to the field from the extra deck while this is in the graveyard, except during the damage step, then we can special summon this card back. Again, we cannot play anything from the extra deck the turn we do this except Mayakashi cards, but that is fine. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio right there. That's the whole package. As far as their main boss monster, their main interaction with their opponents, they're going to go with 2 copies of Eldlitch, the Golden Lord. Now, I love this pose. I just think that this one's way funnier than the main pose. Just feels like very Ainzao Ghoul for those of you anime fans out there. Decent little zombie. You can send this card and 1 spell trap from your hand to the graveyard. Target a card on the field, send that to the graveyard. Then, if this is in your graveyard, you can choose to send 1 spell trap that you control to the graveyard to add this card to your hand. Then you can special summon a zombie monster from your hand, and if you do, until the end of your opponent's next turn, that card gains 1,000 attack and defense, cannot be destroyed by card effects, and each of these is a once per turn effect. So he can either keep cycling himself, or he can board himself on the resurrection or the return, which is very cool. 1 copy, Necro World Banshee. I think you guys know that when she's on the field, she can go ahead and protect our field spell, Zombie World. But as a quick effect, we can banish this from the field or graveyard to activate a Zombie World directly from our hand or deck. So that is the role she is going to be fitting us with today. And last but not least, they were already running Ash Blossom. I did not have to try to convince somebody that Ash Blossom's good. They just went straight for it. So 10 monsters, 25% of the deck. I mean, I get it. It'll make a little more sense when we get to traps, I guess. First and foremost, going into spells. 1 Called by the Grave. It's just always good. Next, 3 copies of the Cursed Eldland. Eldland is a little modular, so what this is you cannot declare attacks except with zombies. You can use each of the following effects once per turn. I can choose to pay 800 life to add an Eldritch monster or Golden Land spell trap from deck to hand. Or if this is sent from the spell trap to the graveyard, I can send 1 Eldritch or Golden Land spell trap from my deck to the graveyard. So that's good. It helps me feed the machine, as it were. Next spell, we're going to be using 2 copies of Elixir of White Destiny. The way this one works, special summon a zombie from the hand or graveyard, but if you control no Eldritch monster, you can only special summon Eldritch monsters with this effect. So once again, once you have Eldritch on board, we can use this to just go ahead and get Hajun out, and we can start the Daki climb. Which is fine. For the rest of the turn after this resolves, you cannot special summon except zombies. During the main phase, you may banish this from the graveyard to set one golden land spell trap directly from the deck. You get one of these effects per turn and only once that turn. We're also going to use one copy Foolish Burial, as this is going to help out. Because again, we can get Necroworld Banshee to just resolve there. Or if you have a method for bringing back Hajun, this works for that as well. We're also going to use 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods in order to pitch spell traps from our deck to the graveyard as well. Next up, we're going to have 3 copies Spell Card Mayakashi Return. We get to go ahead and take one Mayakashi card from the deck with a different name and either add it to the hand or send it to the graveyard. You can only activate one of these per turn. Again, Mayakashi Return just allows us to just go ahead, grab Hajun to Daki, and starts to climb. We're going to use a 1-for-1. Again, there's a lot of techniques to get into Hajun. Hajun is really, it's the Hajun Daki loop. This is where we're going to go ahead. We're going to do everything. So you can either just never mind me or whatever. We are going to board 1 Pot of Prosperity. Again, this is good. You can banish 3 or 6 cards of your choice from the top of the extra, or from the extra deck. You banish those face down. For the remainder of the turn after this card resolves. Any damage the opponent takes will be half. Also excavate from the top of the deck a number equal to the number of cards that you banished, adding 1 of the excavated cards from that to your hand, placing the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. You get 1 of these per turn, and you cannot draw cards by card effects the turn that you activate this. However, if you're using things like Mayakashi Return that say add to hand is fine. Draw is out. The last spell card we're going to use, 1 copy Zombie World, because we want to target for the Necroworld Banshee. And I do love how this is going to just, it sort of soft locks a few decks that are out there. It definitely stops certain cards from playing up against you. And again, we have the new Samurai out. So like right here, it says that you need a Warrior Tuner. Well, can't be a Warrior if it's face up on the field while Zombie World's in play. So stuff like that will soft lock certain cards out of the game. So again, good stuff. Moving into the traps is where we get a lot of the seasoning and the spice of this deck. We're going to be playing 2 copies of Conquistador of the Golden Land. Special summons as a normal monster, Zombie Light. Level 5, 500 by 18. It's still going to be considered a trap when it is summoned. Then if you control the Golden Lord, at the same time you can destroy 1 face-up card on the field. During the end phase, you may banish this in your graveyard to set an Eldlitch from the deck. Each of these effects is once per turn. Again, that's going to help out a little bit. We're going to be using 3 copies of the Eldlitch of Scarlet Sanguine. So go ahead, special summon 1 zombie from the deck or graveyard, but if you control no Eldlitch, then that's your only target. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you may not special summon except for zombie monsters, and of course, you may banish this to get a golden land or spell or trap from the deck and set it directly to the field. Next up, we're going to be using 3 copies of the Ghost Meets Girl, a Masterful Mayakashi Shiranui Saga. So with this one, we tribute 1 Mayakashi or Shiranui Synchro or Link monster. Neither player can special summon monsters from the hand, deck, or extra deck for the remainder of the turn. This is a big shut-off on our opponent's turns. You can banish this from your graveyard, target 1 of your banished zombie monsters, return it to the graveyard. You use 1 of these effects per turn and only once that turn. So again, it's just a really good stun maneuver that's going to allow you to continue playing. This is more like a zombie stun, let's be honest. 1 copy, Golden Land Forever. I'm not sure. Maybe you only owned 1. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated while you control an Eldlitch monster, tribute 1 zombie, negate the activation if do destroy card. Only activate 1 of these per turn. I get it. But it feels like something that you probably could have ran it to. We're going to do some mispronouncing of our own today. So I'm pretty sure we're going to call this Huaguero of the Golden Land. Might be wrong here. Special summon is another normal zombie light level 5, this time 18 by 15. Still a trap. Then if you control Eldlitch, you can go ahead and banish 1 card from either graveyard. During the end phase, this may be banished in your graveyard to set an Eldlitch or spell trap from the deck, and again, once per turn, one and only one that turn. So not bad. Single copy Rivalry. Again, this makes another really good soft lock with the Zombie World. If we're playing Zombie World and there's nothing else that we're allowed to play because we are just not playing a zombie deck, as soon as you get to one monster, you're done playing. Skill Drain is another great floodgate for this. And 2 copies of Trap Trick. So Trap Trick. Banish a normal trap from the deck except this same name. Set a card with the name as the one that you banished directly from the deck, and it can be activated this turn. So what this is going to do, in all essence, you just look at your traps. This is going to get your Sanguines and your Shiranui Sagas to go. So if you didn't have your Shiranui Saga already on, but you drew in a Trap Trick, you've still got it. You can still go into the play. This is not a terrible 40-card deck. There are some things I saw I would probably change. Again, I've already sent the email of that to this Duelist. If you guys wouldn't mind, let's turn the comment section once more into the most helpful comment section that's ever existed, proving that the people who watch my videos are the best. And let's just try to give criticisms that are good, helpful, constructive. Yeah, because if anybody gets too out of sorts with their words, I will obviously have to remove any comments that start using derogatory language or anything, because unfortunately that still happens on occasion, and then people are confused why I remove comments on occasion. Well, talk right, and I won't have to. But yeah, this is the main deck. Not terrible. Again, I think there's a lot of things that could work very well. It seems to be all about maxing out Eldlitch first and then being able to do whatever you want. So give me a second. Let me clean this up, and I'll show you the extra deck I built for this. All right. So with the extra deck, I wanted to give you guys the best motion I could. So I'm going to go through it real quick, and then I'm going to go back through and I'm actually going to give you the effects. So when it came to the Mayakashi cards in the extra deck, I wanted to do one of each of our Synchro Climb, because again, there's not too much wiggle room with what I was given. So we got a 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Just real quick. So it's your first 5 cards. This could be done very cheaply. You've already done some of the more expensive stuff by having the 40 card stack there. This shouldn't hurt the budget too bad. Most of these are very cheap. Whoopsies. I wasn't supposed to show that one yet. I was gonna say then we continue the Mayakashi plays by going up into the Link 2 Yuki-Onna, then the Link 3 Yuki-Onna, and then a single of the Link 4 Yuki-Onna. And then as far as our tech cards were supposed to go, one Avenged Savior, because again, this is just great for zombies. Same thing with Vampire Fascinator. Vampire Sucker works a lot better thematically in this deck because we do have access to the zombie world. And then, of course, Flying Mary, the Wandering Ghost Ship. This is one of my new favorite little techs. Got this out of Rage of the Abyss, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it. So that is like the basics. So like if you guys didn't want to stick around for much more of it, you guys go have a wonderful day, support the channel if you can, or just come back and see me another day if you can't. And then going over the effects, a lot of these have effects that you can only control one of them, and each one of them says like you can use each of the effects like once per turn. So like with a Borogaruma, if a synchro monster in your possession whose original level is 5 is destroyed by battle by opponent's card effect while this is in the graveyard, you can banish another zombie, and if you do, special summon this card. Otherwise, if this is special summoned from the graveyard, to activate this effect this turn, your monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. So for like one turn, he gives you battle immunity if he's played back from the graveyard. Tsuchigumo, again, can only control 1. If a synchro that is original 7 is destroyed by battle by an opponent's card effect while this is in the graveyard, you can banish another zombie in the graveyard. If you do, special summon this. If this is special summoned from the graveyard, you can have each player send the top 3 from their deck to the graveyard. So you can get the mill real quick of the 3, which is fine. Tengu is going to do his thing on, again, he's going to say 9, and then vanish, and then summon from the graveyard. And then when summoned from the graveyard, destroy spell trap the opponent controls. Kind of a weak effect. It is what it is. Going up to the 9, you're going to have Yoko. Yoko is going to say the same things. She's going to reference the level 11. And then if this is a special summon from the graveyard, you can destroy 1 monster the opponent controls. This is not terrible. And then on our 11, we're going to have Gashadokuro. Sometimes I say it too fast and I just get tongue-tied. This one is going to say that if a link monster in your possession was destroyed by an opponent's card effect while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish one of their zombie from your graveyard if you do special summon this. Then, if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can activate this effect. Turn this card activate this effect. This turn, this face-up card is unaffected by other card effects. Which, again, not terrible in and of its own. Plus, it's a 3300 beat stick. This is not bad. This just climbs up out of the levels. And then once you're dealing with Yukiona, you can only control one of her when this card points to while this points to a synchro monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. If a synchro monster is in your possession is destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect while this is in the field, target a face-up monster on the field, its attack defense become half the current attack defense until the end of the turn. So again, it can weaken an opponent's card, which is fine. This effect would be a once per turn. It's meant to be used in conjunction type deal. Then you're going to have our Link 3, the Icicle Mayakashi. Again, you can only control one of these at a time. Each of the following effects is once per turn. If it's a special summon, it's targeted effect monster your opponent controls, negate the effects. This is brilliant. Quick effect, you can banish this from your graveyard to special summon one of your zombie synchros that is banished or in your graveyard. And again, this is just a good card. And again, this could go ahead and pop the 11 real quick. So now that you'll have the 11, you'll have Gashadokuro out there next to it. Plus, you can easily go into another Yukiona on 2. It's not bad. And then the Absolute Mayakashi, the Link 4. You can only control 1 Yukiona, the Absolute 0 Mayakashi at a time. Negate any activated effects of opponent's banished monsters. If a monster special summoned from the graveyard or a monster effect is activated in the graveyard, target another face-up monster card on the field, change its attack to 0 if you do negate its effects. You can use this effect up to twice per turn. It just starts zeroing things out and freezing effects. It's good stuff. So again, I think a lot of that is going to be just get into whichever card you really want. But realistically, you can go all the way into this in one play. And then these extra 3 here, these can actually be used for, you could use that as part of your desires package. Or you just put in other cards you want to. It could just be one of each of the Mayakashis all the way up. I just did this for fun to show you. Again, I kind of got caught up in the way that I built my glass cannon deck, because you go 1-1 to 1-1 to 1-1, and then you can go wop up and go to the 3 and the 4. Going back to the other ones, we can use Avendred to a little bit more of an effect this time. Avendred Savior, again, creating a power gap between it and the monster it's battling with, based on sending a zombie out of my main deck and then taking 200 times star level off of my opponent. So again, Eldlitch was something. Let's do some quick maths, right? Cover up 5 stars, see another 5 stars. That's 2,000 points. So yeah, that's a pretty good gap. Fascinator. I'll actually talk about Fascinator this time instead of just saying that it's good. 2+ monsters, including a zombie, which is fine. Could just be 2 monsters. When this is link summon, target a monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon it to your field in defense. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except zombie. You contribute 1 vampire to target 1 monster your opponent controls. Take control of it for the end of the turn. And again, you can just turn those into extra links. And then again, with Zombie World, everything's zombies. That's why Sucker's so good here. 2 zombies. If you contribute a monsters for a tribute summon, you contribute summon a zombie monsters your opponent control, even though you do not control them. Again, this just lets us off-board things. You can use each of the following once per turn. So yeah, this is fine. Target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to the opponent's field and defense. It's now a zombie. If a zombie monster is a special summon from either graveyard, draw a card. So it's fine. And then last but not least, I really wanted to play around with the Flying Mary, the Wandering Ghost ship. And if I can get a morsel of focus here real quick, I'll start reading. It'll do its thing. You just watch. So this is going to be a 0 attack, linked to 2 zombies. Target 1 of your level 5 or higher zombies that is banished or in your graveyard. Again, Eldlitch will qualify for this all day, every day. So will a ton of our synchros, by the way. And if you do, special summon it. So again, we can get our big 11 star back this way. While this is a continuous spell, this goes back into your spell trap zone when you do that. You place this into spell traps and then special summon the other thing. While this is a continuous, you can target 1 level 5 or higher zombie on that you control, destroy a monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to the monster. You can use this each effect once per turn. So again, you play the ghost ship, you move the ghost ship, you resurrect a big baddie, and then the big baddie goes, hey, you got less attack than me. Ghost ship says part of the ship, part of the crew. And suddenly you get a smile face, and it's gone. So there's that. This is, I would probably maybe even try to find a second slot for this. If you guys wanted to, we could eliminate like the other 2 Yuki-Onna. You could go like 2 more of this. You could eliminate the second of the Link 3 and add in another tech card that you guys want. You guys could do a couple of different things here. But this is the extra deck I am proposing initially for you to start playing with your Mayakashi Eldlitch control build. So you guys enjoy this, hopefully. Again, let's turn the comment section into something a bit kinder today. Full of helpful advice for this duelist. And thank you, everybody, for stopping by to watch this. Hopefully, we've entertained you a little bit today. And hopefully, you guys have a great day. I hope to see you guys next time. Later.